here's the key. To see the greater, you have to go through the suffering. I would love to tell you that greater comes by just being positive, by just staying in faith. But there are certain levels you can only reach by going through some things. Now, don't get stuck in the suffering. Don't live bitter because somebody walked away. Don't settle in the depression thinking that's your lot in life. Keep an attitude of faith and go through it. Keep believing when every thought tells you it's never going to change. Keep talking like it's going to happen when nothing is improving. Keep speaking God's favor when it seems like you're wasting your time. The suffering is a test. It's an opportunity to show God that you are not going to get discouraged. You're not going to give up on your dreams. You're not going to lose your passion.
I learned something about faith. Faith comes from hearing, not from having heard. My mother was telling me those messages years ago. During my homeless years, I would rehear them, and that's when it mattered. And I kept hearing my mother say words like, God didn't bring you this far to leave you. I kept hearing stuff like, faith is the belief in things that you cannot see. It kind of keeps you motivated a lot longer, man, to help you push through. The key to making it is you can never turn back. See, God is always coming. When you ask God for something, God boxes it up and he ships it the day you ask for it. The problem with the package is he never tells you the date that it's going to arrive. So God sends your package, but he only delivers to Faith Street. If you step over here to I don't see how Avenue, if you step over here to Ain't No Way Circle, he don't ship there. When the package arrive and you ain't on Faith Street, package got to go back. This real talk, man. This is how it works.
Are you letting your circumstances talk you out of what God put in your heart? God still wants to bring it to pass, but you have to get in agreement with him and say, God, I still believe it can happen. Thoughts whispering, you'll never meet the right person. You can't pass that college course. These problems are so big. I don't see how it can work out. Don't take the bait. Those are lies to try to defraud you out of your purpose. Do yourself a favor. Ignore it. Just say, no thanks. I still believe.
There's a fight going on right now over what you believe. Believing is our only gateway to God. Satan doesn't need your house. Satan doesn't need your car. He needs you worried. He needs you upset. The enemy is after your mind.
When you have unconditional trust, you can't be defeated. The forces that are for you are greater than the forces that are against you. I don't get frustrated when things aren't changing as fast as I would like. I know that God is in control. At the right time, God will get you to where you're supposed to be.
God has fixed it that we all must become like children and have childlike faith and dare to believe him. Your belief system has to be built on God, not church. Your faith has to be built on something that's solid as a rock. So somebody shout, I am a believer.
God wouldn't have given you the dream and not made a way to bring it to pass. And if you will stay in faith, you'll come in to what God has already set up. People can't stop it. Injustice can't stop it. You keep honoring God, and what he's already set up is going to find you. Keep your mind filled with faith. God is still on the throne. God didn't bring you this far to leave you. Yes, we're going to have disappointments, but that doesn't mean that it's not going to happen. All the forces of darkness cannot keep you from your destiny.
Doubtless. I'm not talking about other people believing for you. You got to believe this for yourself. I was called for this. I was meant for this. You got to be doubtless or you can't harvest. So if you are going to go into harvest, somebody shout, I believe it.
Telling yourself every day, here I go again, and I got what it takes, and nothing out here is going to stop me.
Instead of going from I believe to I gave up, go from I believe to I still believe. Joel, I tried and it didn't work out. That's part of the process. Those are tests that you have to pass. You have to have a made-up mind that you're going to believe until you see that promise come to pass.
And stop trying to keep up with the culture. The culture will send you to hell because the culture can do anything. It is not your job to try to imitate the world. It is their job to be influenced by you. Come on, somebody. God wants you to believe him.
People who don't believe in you is not going to dampen your faith. Your time is coming. What God put in your heart is still on the way. Yes, we're going to have disappointments. Don't be intimidated by the opposition. That's a sign that you're close to your victory.
That if the truth were told, all of us have had moments that we wanted to throw up our hands and walk away.
We know what God has promised, but when we look at the circumstances, it says we're stuck. But the scripture says the things we see are subject to change.
Don't allow a moment of agony to make you draw a conclusion about life prematurely. God has a way of making everything all right.
Your dream may seem impossible. That's subject to change. When a caterpillar is crawling on the ground, he looks up and sees a beautiful butterfly. When he looks at his circumstances, there's nothing about them that says he will ever fly. He didn't realize it wasn't permanent. His wings were coming. God did not create you to crawl. Now quit being discouraged by what you see. What you see is subject to change. You're going to discover gifts, talents, creativity that you didn't know you had. If you stay focused on the drought, how big the problem is, that's going to keep you in a caterpillar mode. I can't get ahead. I've reached my limits. Your own thinking will keep your wings from developing. You had every right to give up. All the facts say it's impossible. Your attitude is, that's okay. God can do the impossible. That's when you have to dig down deep and say, God, my mind says I'm crazy, but I still believe what you promised is on the way. What's trying to stop you is not permanent. Don't reduce what God promised you to fit your faith. Don't be limited by your faith. Stretch your faith. He is not asking you to figure it out. He's asking you to believe. Keep your mind filled with faith. He's planned out your days for good.
You looking at me today with all that I've accomplished because of faith. You think for 1 minute you're going to make it without God, you tripping. Listen, man, anybody can be successful, but you got to understand something. It's hard. Being successful, y'all, is not a magic trick. Success is hard. But let me ask you a question. Ain't not being successful hard too? You want the hard with some options and some benefits, or you want the hard when ain't nothing going on?
You know, it's amazing how hard-working, smart-working people have all the luck. An overnight success. But if you've ever watched an interview with some of these folks, you'll probably hear that their overnight success took several years. Diligence is the mother of good luck. Happiness doesn't come from big pieces of great success, but from small advantages hammered out day by day. We must be happy with what we've got when we're in pursuit of what we want. Too often we say, I'll be happy when I just have more money. Oh, I'll be happy when I just get that promotion. You won't be any happier when you reach your goals than you are right now. Abraham Lincoln said it best. He said, you'll be as happy as you make up your mind to be. Being happy on the way doesn't mean you can't aim for great things. It means that big achievements come one small advantage at a time. It means that you must enjoy and take pride in your little accomplishments. Every day, every single day. Success is a pleasure. If what you are doing today isn't satisfying, gratifying, guess what? You're really not successful. It doesn't matter how many worldly possessions you may have, how many cars, how many toys. If you're not happy with your life as it is, you cannot be successful. To a school kid, success may mean a star on top of his latest test. To an outside professional, it's most likely the thrill of closing a major contract. But the one thing you will hear from everyone who is successful is that they are happy with who they are and what they are doing. Success is a pleasure. What have you done today that makes this day successful? If at the end of the day you can jot down the things that have made it a good day, you will soon see patterns forming. When you can see a pattern of pleasure, you'll know you're on the road to success. Success is measured through pleasure. You've got to be happy along the way. Good job, you need to tell yourself. I'm proud of me today. You've got to learn to enjoy the process. William James described success as a combination of two things: an inner ideal which is followed persistently with courage. I take that to mean defining a goal and having the resolve to complete it. Promise yourself you'll read the books until your skills change. Go to the seminars until you get a handle on it. Practice it until you've got it right. Step by step, piece by piece, book by book, do it until. Don't miss the chance to grow, to pay the price. Until you learn. You'll discover some of life's great treasures when you pay that price. Go for it. And number 2, outer achievement related to that ideal. But what Dr. James realized was that the first part is indeed more important than the second. As long as you're working toward your inner goal, your dream, then success is possible. Now, maybe the person who's been working on a project for 10 years can be successful in his own right, if he's honestly working toward it, really happy with where he is, doing it until, going for small accomplishments along the way for however long it takes. You'll start to see things change around you, little things, not major things. If you're one of those who'd rather stay up late and get up late, and you roll out of bed cursing the alarm clock every morning, maybe you could start with the little change of going to bed half an hour earlier than normal. Maybe you'll find out that you jump out of bed in a better mood, and that you'll get more done. It all starts by making one little change. You see, you can't change what's going on around you without first changing what's going on within you. When you start changing how you think, how you act, how you treat yourself, when you start responding instead of reacting to life, life will start responding to you. You cannot believe what can happen in such a short period of time. You don't have to worry about the winds that will most certainly blow around you, the obstacles. You don't have to worry about what other people will say. Those winds may blow fast and furious, but if you know your path, they will help push you toward the dreams and treasures that you have already decided you're going after. There are some amazing people around that we can learn from today, people who have already braved the storms and come out on top, people who started with nothing and ended up with something great, people who turned their focused dreams into the reality of success. Stories of success are all around us. Take the time to talk to these people or read their stories. You might find out that they have already traveled the path you are now on. Many of these people have written books on their journeys. These books tell the stories and give the secrets that we can all learn from. Let's say you want to go away to a place you've never been before. Wouldn't you want to find someone who had been there? What's the best way to get there? The safest route? What do I need to bring to be totally prepared? What dangers do I need to avoid? It's the same thing with life. By listening to those who are farther along in the journey you are interested in taking, you just might pick up something that will make your journey that much better. They can provide that extra push you've been looking for. They've been there. Their knowledge is valuable.
Now, most of us want to believe that we're independent, that if we set our minds to do something, simply it can get done. Unless you look to others, you can work twice as hard to get half as much.
Ask for help. Not because you're weak, but you want to remain strong. And ask for help and don't stop until you get it. And so I started talking to other people who had gone through my experience, and we became support for each other.
There is no self-made man. There is nothing wrong with asking for what you want.
And I started doing research, trying to find out what are the things that I need to do. I started reading everything I could. I started asking people questions, people who had already gone through it. I talked to everybody. I researched. I became actively involved in the process.
You've just got to be a good student and gather the material and the books as you go along. Even on my farm now, I've built a library for 2,000 books. On the farm, I got to have a library. Got to be surrounded by the books. You know, the books that made me healthy and the books that made me wealthy and the books that refined my philosophy. Just start, and then just keep adding to it. You just start, and then you just do your own research. Bread for the head, full range in your library.
Chẳng được quên khi cơn mưa đêm lại về. Em nơi quên lời thề và ta như đông chìm sâu. Không còn mới em anh nhận màu. Em chỉ cần mơ đâu em bay. Chỉ còn là những cơn mưa vô giá. Cho bên mơ em không mơ anh. Anh một đêm mơ. Chỉ cần bên em không được còn nhớ. Và chỉ có em không còn nhớ. Và người ta bên nhau như ngã tớ. Muốn nhớ về say em chỉ có mấy em ở đây. Và anh như muốn chết đi nhưng không muốn em mơ mày. Tình yêu làm cho ta đau đầu. Cùng em như nằm ngâm màu. Anh như đeo mong cầu. Và mưa bên em ngô sầu. Chào cả bạn bè em mơ. Chỉ có bên em nhưng là khó mơ. Em ở đâu ra em muốn bên ai. Anh không mong gì hơn. Chỉ mong em sẽ ở đây ôm anh thật gần. Anh chỉ mong đôi ta được có nhau. Mà đừng em đâu anh có em. Một đêm bên anh có em. Ta sẽ trao nhau môi hôn thật sâu. Ôm anh.
Thank you. I got nightmares in my head, I fear that the thoughts build up until I can't hear, that my mind fills up into a creature, and it haunts me somewhere much deeper.
Anxiety, filling up every space, no privacy. And silently, it could build and build until you finally see, whoa, it's taking over, damn no closure, moving closer. No exposure, I just wanna be a loner. Some can't stay sober, looking over all their shoulders, like moving boulders just to get out of the home. It sucks, I've had enough, I don't wanna feel the stuck under the rug, all my problems that I shove.
I got nightmares in my head, I fear that the thoughts build up until I can't hear, that my mind fills up into a creature, and it haunts me somewhere much deeper. I got nightmares in my head, I fear that the thoughts build up until I can't hear, that my mind fills up into a creature, and it haunts me somewhere much deeper.
I've been feeling weird, I can't seem to focus good enough. Nothing's really clear, sometimes it could be a little tough. I just need to feel like the end's in sight for me, but let's be really real, anxiety can foggy all this stuff. I've been feeling weird, I can't seem to focus good enough. Nothing's really clear, sometimes it could be a little tough. I just need to feel like the end's in sight for me, but let's be really real, anxiety can foggy all this stuff. It sucks when you finally feel like giving up. Oh God, no luck, everything feels like you're sticky stuck. I'm lost, handcuffed to the bed where I sleep, don't give a fuck. Can't stop, unplug, feeling over